Hello and welcome back. So in this section, which is the fifth section we are having, quickly we want to look at team collaboration and conflict resolution, right? So let's just quickly get into this. So let's start with collaboration. So let's assume that we have this project and I want to invite people, right, that will collaborate with me on the project, that will contribute to the project. So what you do is that you go to the repository itself and you look for this settings tab, right? You look for this settings tab and you click on it. So on clicking the settings tab, you are going to come to collaborators, right? You are going to come to collaborators, and here you'll be able to invite people that you want to collaborate on that same project. And these collaborators actually must have Git accounts too, right? So add people. So for this one, I'm just going to search for my own personal account, 402, right? So this is it. I'll just click on it and I'll say add Olalua 402 to this repository. So the implication of that is that I'm going to receive a request in my mail, right? And of course, whatever email you use to register, I'm going to receive a request in my mail requesting that I should join this particular project. And you can see it says pending invite. So once I accept it, I become a collaborator, which means that I'll be able to contribute to that project. Without that, you may not have that permission to push and pull and contribute to that project. So I will check my mail now. And I expect, let me just refresh. I expect to see that invite link. So this is the invite link, right? From concept first to mastery. So I've been invited as someone who needs to contribute to that project. And all you just need to do is, okay, now this is the invite, right? So you need to click on the invitation. It expires after 7 days. I'll just follow it through. Click on it. So once I'm done, right? So I've landed here. So actually, it shouldn't still be saying pending invite. Let me just refresh this page. Manage access. Okay, let me just try that again. Okay, I think I'm having this I'm having this scenario because I'm waiting Olaluwa's response because I'm currently logged in to this particular account. So let me switch to the other one so that I can have the desired. I'm having this issue because I have two accounts. I'm trying to manage them. So let me switch to this. Then I'll get back to, let me just go to my account afresh, or possibly let me close this. Right, then come back here and just, in your own case, you won't have this issue. So you can see this is what I'm looking for. So it says concept force invites you to collaborate, accept or decline. So I'm going to decline, and you can read here for the implication. So your public profile information, certain activity within this repository. So owners of this project will be able to do all this. I think that's what this is trying to say. So accept. So once it is accepted, automatically you can see that I'm taken to this particular repository and I have access to it. Then if I've done this side already, where the next step here is you clone the project, right? So if you didn't see me do this step, you can watch the previous video, right? You clone this particular project and you begin to contribute via creating branches and doing whatever you need to do on the project. So I want to assume that you know how to clone already. So you click on this link, you copy it, and you clone the project. So by the time you come back to, by the time I switch back, now that I'm already accepted, right? Let me switch back to this account, right? All right, so I'm on this project. Now, if I go back to settings, you see that I'm already there, collaborators. So you can see that we have one collaborator now, right? Which is my, so this is how it works. You can have as many persons here collaborating on this same project. And I've already told you what to do immediately. You clone the project and you can begin to work. So now what I want to do is the other side of things. Now we have two contributors on this project, as you will notice here, right? Two contributors. Now, if I have any PR, I should be able to add somebody as a reviewer, right, on that particular project. So let's assume now that let me switch back to this, right, so that I can try and contribute. So let's assume that I've been saddled with the responsibility of actually working on the registration section of this project, right? So what I will just do is here I can still work with this same branch, no problem, since it's the same PC. I will just say Git. Okay, I think I already have that Git branch, just to check the current active branch, the master branch. Okay, this is not aware of what I have there. Okay, yeah, this was the one I cloned. Okay, so just so that nobody is confused, right? Let me demonstrate this over again, the cloning part, right? How you will operate as if you are new on the project. So these others, I will use that as practice. I'll delete this, right? Just delete this. So now nothing there. So if I'm here for the first time, like I've said, you clone this, right? And then you open your command prompt and cd into that project. Okay, let me just do it right from here. Cd into others. That's the folder where I want things to be created. Okay, cd into desktop first, then cd into others. Right, so inside others, I want to clone that project. Don't forget, I've been invited newly to this project, and that's why I'm doing all this, just to take you through that cycle. Git clone. So now it's cloning the project, and now we have a copy of that, and I can begin to work on it. If I now do git branch, okay, yeah. So you have to cd into the project first, which is learn git, cd learn git, right? You can now do git branch just to see what branches are available. I have the master branch. That's because I have just cloned this project. Don't forget, on the other side of things, I had a branch called login and registration, right? But this is another user now. I just cloned this project afresh. So let me now create, let's say I've been asked to work on registration. I'll just say git branch. Usually you don't work on the master branch directly. You create your own branch, right? Git branch, I'll just call it, or let's use the quick command, git checkout -b. So let's say registration. So this is the registration branch. So this is a shortcut. It creates the branch, right? Registration, and also checks out into it immediately. So if I do git branch now, registration becomes active branch, right? And currently registration is just an exact copy of the master branch. But now I want to add some things to it. Open this in VS Code, right? So it's opened. So now let's say what I'm to work on is registration section. I will just quickly, don't forget, we are not focused on the project, right? We are not focused on functions. We just want to practice working with Git, right? So let's say this is registration section. So usually this will be registration properly, depending on what you have been asked to do. And let's say this is the input field and the output field, and usually there will be a submit button, right? Input, just say with a type of submit. Right, so let's say that is what I'm contributing, right? Maybe my first contribution. Now that I have those changes, whatever other people are going to be contributing towards that project too, somebody is working on notification, someone is working on login, someone is working on sending email, whatever you are doing, right? Everybody is contributing to that main project. And now I want my own contribution to be added to that project. So what we are going to do is I'm just going to say git status again, just to check the current state of things. Now you can see that I have a file that is on track. The next thing is to move it to staging, git add, then the name of the file, but I can just do dot here. I've already explained what dot means, right, in the previous sections. So if I do git status, you have this green, meaning that my changes now are in the staging area, ready to be committed. Then git commit dash m. So the commit message, I'll just say added registration, right? So this is it. Now, if I now do git status, there is nothing to commit again. So that means I can now push this branch and make PR so that, or pull request, so that it can be merged, right, with the master branch and added to what others are doing currently. So if what the command for that is git push, right, git push origin registration, because this is the branch that I've just worked on and I'm ready to merge. And don't forget that this branch currently is ahead of the master branch because it contains what master branch does not contain. So when I come back here, so you can see now that I'm logged in as Olaoluwa, not Concept First to Mastery. And it's asked, but now I have permission to contribute to that project even right from here. And it's asking me to make a PR, right? Compare and pull requests. So you just do that. This is how you collaborate with others. So you can see I'm making a PR that registration should be marked to the master. I can just say feature here, registration. You can add other details there if you choose to, but I'll leave that. So here, usually there are settings you do that just so there's currently no settings. Maybe in another section I'll talk about unnecessary settings, right, to prevent people from pushing directly into the master branch. But currently there is nothing like that. But usually the master branch will be protected. So here, let's say no reviewers. Let's say I'm assigning this as reviewer, right? So there's one reviewer now because we are now two only. So assignees, I'll just say, I want this person, right? Concept First to Mastery to review this particular work. All right. So that's the person that will review. And I think that's just what I want to do here. Then I will just say create pull request. Create pull request. So now you won't be able, I won't match this, right? I won't match this. It say it's able to match and all that. So usually if this is protected, you will not even see this button, right? You won't be able to match it, but I'm leaving it that way. So now I will leave it like this. The request has been placed, right, by Olaoluwa 402. And now let's switch to the other account, right? Just so that we follow the cycle completely. So now on Concept First to Mastery, I still have access to this same repository, right? And now I can see the pull request, right? And then I can choose to click on the pull request. I can choose to comment on the pull request and all that. So let's say here now I want to add review, right? Because it has been let me show you that again. Olaoluwa requested your review on this pull request. You can see now that this is currently Concept First to Mastery is the active user here, logged in user here. And Olaoluwa 402, a contributor to this project, right, is requesting that his pull request be reviewed. And I can say, yes, add review, right? So I might choose to comment on something here that it needs to do, right? I might just say you can, I might say why use this method, right? So I might want expect a feedback from that. I'm just showing you what review is all about, start review, right? So this is pending, and you can just reply. The other person will reply and all that. So but I will just say finish review. Then I will just say, okay now, right? Then you can say approve. So I'm just showing you around what working with other teams like would look like, and what reviewing of your PR, right, will look like. So once this is there, you can also see the comments and all that here, and the section of the code that that I made comments on, right, and what it's all about. So once you are done, like let's say I'm the reviewer here, I will just say match pull request, and this will be marked add the registration marked. So now my pull request has been marked, right? I'll just delete it. It has been merged with the master branch. Now, when I come to the master branch, I'm going to see that here, right? So you can see added registration. So 5 minutes ago, the master branch now has what my contribution, right, from the registration branch. And you can see it here, match pull request as true from concept first to mastery registration. So that is how you collaborate with others. And I will advise that you actually practice this like I'm doing now, so that if you are just doing this for the first time, you get comfortable with it. So the other side of things, there's still things to talk about, but I don't want this to be too long, right? So the other thing I want to do now is cause a conflict, so that you see what conflict is and how to resolve it. So let me switch back to Olaloa 402, right? So I'm currently working on a branch, and I know that there are some things that I didn't add, right? There are some things I didn't work on. I would deliberately go there, right, and update it. For instance, I was Olaloa 402 was not the one that added this, right? So what I would just do is, even at times you might be the one that added it, but the fact that the file now has changed, the content of that particular position has changed, GitHub will request, oh, there is a conflict between what you have currently and what I have on the master branch, right? So here, let me just put, let me remove another text from here. Let's remove this. That's all I'm doing, right? So if I now do Git, if I do Git status, I just want to do something that will deliberately cause conflict. If I now say Git add dot, just to move that update, right, to staging, then Git status, yes, move to staging. If I now say Git commit -m, let's just say removed paragraph. So these are just basic examples. So it has been marked. Now let me make a pull request again, right? Git push, or let me push this, Git push origin. Then we are pushing registration, right? So this has been pushed. Now let's go to the here. Let me refresh here. Okay, that means I didn't really delete that. Let me just come to here and go to the branch myself. So when I come to the branch here, you can see the new update now, registration. I'll just say make PR. I expect that it will throw conflict. So let's see. This doesn't seem to cause a merge conflict. Let me refresh again. Okay, still saying able to merge. Let me just see what I'm trying to actually force conflict here. All right, so I was able to cause a conflict, and this is what conflict looks like. So now you can see that I am actually requesting that I have a PR requesting that registration should be marked with the master branch. But there is now a conflict between what we have inside the registration and the master branch. And Git will not allow me to actually merge this particular registration with master until I resolve the conflict. All right. So what you do is that you will need to, because there is a conflict between master and registration, what you need to do is that you go into the branch that you want to merge, right, which is the registration. You pull updates from the master, right? And then it will result in conflict, definitely, because it has showed that there is conflict here. Then you will resolve it. You now make a fresh PR. That's how to resolve conflict. So what I mean by that is, if you look at this now, this is Git branch, right? And currently I'm inside registration. I want to merge up this inside registration with the master branch, but the master branch will not allow me because something has been tampered with that I need to manually resolve, right? So what you do here is just you do git pull origin, then you pull from the branch you want to merge into. I want to merge into the master branch, so I'll pull from the master branch so that the moment I'm pulling, don't forget this git pull is doing two things. It's going to fetch the update and it's going to try to merge it with registration. But since you already know that there's a conflict from here, it's going to also not merge here. It's going to cause conflict, right? So, but you will now resolve that conflict. Once you are sure that that conflict has been resolved, you now push the update back. So git pull origin master should not merge. It should result in conflict. All right, so I'm expecting that. So you can see now, automatic merge failed, fix conflict, and then commit the result. Take note of that. So this is all about, because this can be very, very frustrating if you don't know how to do that, right? Do it. So what you're just looking out for is what file is involved when it comes to the conflict. You can see conflicts here, and the file that is being pointed to is index.html. So what you will do is that you will actually open that file to see what is there and resolve. Now, can you see what I'm having, right? So here now, take note of this. You have the green line, this one, right, which is the current change. Then we have this line, the faint, the transparent one, which is referring to the incoming change, meaning that this is coming from the master branch, right? This has to do with the registration branch because that's the current branch that I'm working with. This is the master branch. This is where I put from, right? So, and you can see the changes that are the conflicts that are being marked. So usually you can choose to do it other ways. At times you will need to compare changes from here now, right? You can compare changes before you do anything. You can accept both changes, right? If usually you will do this logically, right? It's because it's just an example, right? You do this logically to know that, okay, do I need it two and to still represent what I need? Or do I need to ignore one and now accept the new one, right? Let's say, for instance, now, the current thing I have here is I added address, right? The master branch, in the master branch, the address field has been commented out, right? So if my desire currently is to actually uncomment this address, right, so that it's available, I will accept current. But if my desire is to keep it commented out, I will accept incoming. If my desire is to actually have both, I will accept both. If I'm still not clear, I'll compare changes, right? So, but for this case, I'm going to just accept current change, meaning that I want to keep what I have currently on the registration branch. And once you do that, take note, it's going to now override what you have on the master branch. So you have to be clear on that. So that is conflict fixed there. If I come back, that is not done because you still need to then do git status to actually move your changes, right? Git status, git add, dot. Then you now do the git commit, right? -m. Here I will just say resolved conflict. Resolved conflict. So it's actually a merge conflict, right? So you can, okay, cannot partial. Okay, that means can you see now that it still did not allow me to merge, right? Because let me just see. I hope it's not because of my flag here. Okay, yeah, so the conflict is resolved. And you can see now it says conflict resolved. So I can then push this back, git push, origin. We are pushing registration, don't forget. So that's how you resolve conflict. Again, if this is not clear, just try to go over again. So what happened was I was trying to merge registration with the master. There is conflict. So I needed to then come back locally, pull master into branch, right? Into my registration branch, right? And in the process, it will not allow me because there's conflict. I had to fix the conflict manually myself, logically processing the incoming and the current, right? then taking decision. Once it's done, update your changes by adding it to the staging area and then committing it. Then we are now free to make a fresh push. So this is going to be Git. Okay, I've done that Git push origin registration. If I now come back here and refresh this page, so that conflict will be gone, right? Because I've resolved it locally. So you can see now that there is no longer conflict, and you can say conflict resolved. That's the latest update I pushed. So if I now mark this, this will be marked, right? So usually conflict is what you see on a daily basis as you continue to contribute on project, but you need to have a mastery of how to resolve it, right? And move on quickly. So that's it with conflict resolution when it comes to working with GitHub. So in the next section, we'll look at some of the other things, maybe advanced commands now that we can still use to when it comes to GitHub and working with others on a project.